This is a polydarium, or an ecosystem, and on the inside, it's a miniature world, home to creatures of the water and the land. More than that, it is a home for the creatures inside. I know, you probably want to see what's on the surface, but down in the water dwells a stunning animal. This is a betta fish, otherwise known as a Siamese fighting fish, and although regal in appearance, this old male is just inquisitive about his new surroundings. Allow me to explain. Before he inhabited this flourishing ecosystem, he lived in a small tank, with no room to swim around freely. Thankfully, he found me, and I wasn't about to let him stay there his whole life. Since then, I've moved him into the polydarium, where he will now rule over the waters until his gills filter his final teaspoon of water. Although this tank might seem like it is just home to a few creatures, it's really home to hundreds. Even though they're hard to spot with the naked eye, tiny springtails are what keep this ecosystem from falling apart. You see, these small creatures eat something that is dangerous if it overdevelops in an ecosystem: mold. Not only do these little terrarium janitors eat mold, they also recycle dead material, such as detritus, which could also be described as the leftovers from animal or plant life. As the days passed, the polydarium continued to flourish. However, I needed something to keep the ecosystem in check. A hunter. A predator. A very cute predator. Allow me to introduce Tiju, a beautiful Madagascar giant day gecko, or Philsuma grandis. She may look small, but as the days pass, she will grow at an alarming rate until she reaches nearly a foot in length. Although she seems cute and harmless as she licks my finger, I have to be very careful. One wrong move and she could spring into action, and leave her tail, and maybe even a pile of her own skin behind. Let me explain. Gotta equip these critters with some extreme defense mechanisms, and if a potential predator gets a little too touchy with them, they have the ability to drop their tail. If I try to grab onto her skin, no problem. Another one of her defense mechanisms is she will drop her own skin. Although she reigns supreme as the apex predator in this ecosystem, out in the wild, they can become a prey by a hungry bird. This is a snail. Although I can't identify this one's gender at the moment, I do know that the snail has two things going around to their little head: eat and reproduce. Fortunately, they're great at eating. Unfortunately, they're also great at reproducing. On the lip of this piece of driftwood lie a couple clusters of empty snail eggs that have hatched recently in this polydarium. Okay, they do look a little bit cute, but it starts to become a problem when you look around and realize there are tens of hundreds of them in the tank. While a couple of detritus worms might keep them full for a little while, the aquatic planters adding in the water might seem like a nice meal. And I'm not gonna let them hurt my plants. So I hired a hitman. A snail hitman. This is an assassin snail, born to kill other snails. All I have to do is put him in the tank. Into the tank, he seemed more interested in digging around in the soft substrate than doing his job. But hopefully over the next couple of days, he'll take a few of the baby snails for lunch. As the days went on, the ecosystem in my bedroom thrived. Although it had its ups and its downs, it still remained intact. With a little help from the annoying primate that keeps sticking its hand in, of course, but intact nonetheless. On the topic of the annoying primate, I've created a bond with Tiju. And as I stood there, feeling the rapid movement of his tongue on my finger, I couldn't help but notice just how gentle an apex predator can be.